So now we're dealing with semantics.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Semantics. Is a video a message? I would argue that a video is a message.
Yeah, but that's your interpretation. Maybe that's your perception.
That's true.
But do we not have the Second Amendment right to say how we feel? I mean,
we do, but that's when the orders of protection come in, saying what you can and cannot say. And the judge is saying, no, you're not allowed to say these things about your neighbor or to your neighbor. And the question is a YouTube video a message to somebody? It's a message to the audience. Is it not?
Yeah, but I don't feel comfortable as a police officer going over there and putting this woman in handcuffs because she makes a YouTube because she's frustrated about how she got served this order. It's about dude, you think about it. This is about cats and rocks in the driveway and bullshit shit. This is about, I mean...
So, here's my argument for 4. I'm not saying I want to arrest this lady either. You know, but like if I had a YouTube channel, the purpose of my YouTube channel is to get my message out to the people.
Hello everybody. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I would like to share with you my story, my experience. So I'm going to start with this. I've lived in Holiday Village for over 10 years and here in Mesa, Arizona. And Holiday Village is a community, 55 plus community here. My neighbor at lot 140, Wendy, decided that she was going to up and abandon her home. So Wendy abandoned her home and abandoned all of her cats. She had 5 cats and 3 of the cats were pregnant. 2 of the cats I didn't know, they were the indoor cats I believe, and she had just thrown them out. And all 3 of them ended up having their litters underneath the home and pretty much around the same time. And I was able to rescue the first litter, and when I was walking alongside Wendy's home I heard little noises and oh man, I ended up getting underneath and crawling underneath the home. And 3 of these they were just so little, they were just babies, were obviously left behind because the mother had died, and I rescued those 3. And so with Scoot, I wasn't able to rescue that litter because she just would not let me near her kittens. And they were underneath this trailer, I mean literally underneath this trailer. Well, I started going over and noticing that there was like weird stuff in the food, you know, like a cat. The water was mixed in, it looked oily, and there was these big white balls, and I swear I thought someone absolutely was poisoning these cats. And there was not every day I went over there, and there was always something going on with these food bowls. I took the food into animal control to have them test the food and never heard back whether they were being poisoned or not. The good thing is these kittens never did eat the food. And so what I ended up doing was I knew that I needed to get them out of that home, and I wanted to move them over to lot 139. Every day was just my love, just to go over there and sit with them. I even put a recliner over there so I could sit with them and be present with them and bond with them. And I'm sitting there one day and a truck pulls in and to lot 140, and that's when I knew, okay, here goes, you know, the home's for sale, it's sold, and the new neighbor. We have our new neighbor. And I went up and I said hello and introduced myself, and I picked up a weird energy right away from her and her daughter. And so apparently her and her daughter are the ones that signed on the lease, but the mother was the one living there and living there with her son, 35-year-old, and apparently he was considered the caretaker for this woman. Just let her know I have this colony, they're awesome cats. You know, it's all good. I feed them, take care of them. You don't have to, I mean, just if you have any concerns, please address me. Let me know, and it'll be all good.
So as soon as we pulled in the driveway, Shelley was right there to greet us. It was like she was waiting on us. And she says, "Hi, my name's Shelley. Do you like cats?" And I said, "Yes." There was no problems for the longest time, and she told me if I ever have a problem with these stray cats that she feeds next to my trailer, that's an empty trailer. And she said to let her know, and she would try to solve it. So when I did, she laughed. So I just put my hands up, walked away, went in the house, when we pulled into the driveway so I could see if they give us the code to unpunch to get the key to unlock the door, she was already there. Shelley was already there at trailer 139, the MTA trailer next to us. Okay, and she approached us and she said, "Do you guys like cats?" And I kind of looked at her kind of funny and I said, "Well, yes, I love cats. I have a cat in my house right now."
Here I am feeding my cats. They're all fixed now. They did the TNR. Holiday Village has given me permission at this point because TNR is very essential for keeping the colonies at bay and not letting them roam wild and create havoc. And Holiday Village got on board with the TNR program, which was awesome. And a part of that was that I was allowed at this point to feed the cats, and they were very aware I was feeding, and there was no problem whatsoever with park management with me feeding these cats.
In our contract, it also says we're not supposed to feed the stray and feral cats, but she does.
We actually got a hold of the owner of the trailer, and she even said that she had no idea that she was feeding cats on the property. We actually got eviction notices, both of us got warning eviction notices about the issue, saying that she cannot be feeding the cats anymore because it's actually you can't feed feral cats in the trailer park.
And it does state in there that, and even Heather, that's the manager, stated to me that we are not supposed to feed the stray cats. We've been told not to feed them.
I was told that this woman was calling up to the office and telling the office every single day that I was feeding these cats, and it says on the lease I can't feed cats. And I didn't know that. Nothing was ever said to me. I had no clue that every single day she's calling up and complaining about me feeding these cats. And once I heard that, I just went up and I approached her and asked her, I said, "Do you have a problem with my cats? Do you have a problem with this?" And she's like, "Oh, no, not at all." I said, "Okay." I said, "Well, if you do, please come to me."
Did you have conversations with her about the cats?
No, I did not have no conversation with her.
Any conversation at all with her?
No.
You never talked to her?
I have talked to her, yes.
That's conversation.
And we've had other conversations. She would come up to in my driveway. She would talk to my daughter and my son-in-law and my granddaughter that's 5 that I babysat for. And then after that, it just kind of went downhill with the stray cats.
At Lot 139, Jeff lives there, and he's a snowbird, so he was there at this time when all this was happening. So he absolutely gave me permission to move the cats over to Lot 139.
On the property next door, 139, Jeff does not own the trailer that trailer. The officer when she called the police department, she told the officer that Bill owned it. The officer told her that he did not own it. It was a lady in Canada. And then that's when she posted a video on YouTube and saying that about Jeff. My daughter called a number to find out who owns certain trailers, and she asked about 139 at the courthouse, and they said it was a Rose Hampton from Canada that owns it, and nobody else named on that thing. So that was false. Rose Hampton owns it.
So I want to start off saying, as far as the property to lot 139 where she was feeding the cats, she didn't actually officially have permission from the owner. She got permission from William, which he got permission from the owner that lives in Canada to take care of her property just so he can park his car in her carport. She never got permission. Even the management even said that she's not allowed, because it even says in the contract that you're not supposed to be on someone else's property without permission.
You're trespassing because it's not your property.
I have permission to be here, written permit. Yeah, I do. Jeff is a friend of mine.
That's not your property.
Jeff, I have written permission from the owner to be on this property. Jeff.
That's not the owner. Drunk again.
Rosie. You know what? We've been here a year. I've been here 10.
You are trespassing. It's not you. You do not.
I am not trespassing. You are trespassing. This is ironic to me. You're the one trespassing when you come over here and you steal my stuff.
As this escalates, so I start going over there to feed the cats, and little by little, I start noticing that someone's messing with my food bowls. They're dumping the food into the water, and then my food bowl started disappearing, and then the food was stolen, the linens were stolen, and this went on for quite a while. I went over and asked her, you know, hey, I mean, all my food is gone. You know, do you know who could be stealing my food? And she said, well, there's homeless people that come through, and they're probably the ones that are stealing your food. And
she came up to me and she said somebody was stealing cat treats and cat food. And I said, well, I don't have a cat. What's it mean?
What about the bowls that they're using to feed the cats?
Nope, we never took no bowls.
So Mike and I decided that was a good idea to put up a trail cam.
So then her and her husband went over there on their own and installed a security camera in the tree pointing at my back door. Are they watching my daughter, my brother, or my mother? What is their intent? Are they predators or unloading videos of my daughter to some trafficking ring? You never know. Blocking my back door so the camera won't, and the office made them take it down because it wasn't their property.
So we ended up taking the camera down and saying forget that whole idea and just have the awareness that this was going on. So it kept going on. The kid was the issue. This young boy was a problem. And I wondered who he was. You know, I wanted his name, and this is when I started inquiring to try to get his name. And no one would give me his name. And I didn't understand, like, what is the problem? Why can't I get this kid's name?
How many children do you have?
One.
Okay, so Robert?
Well, if you want to call him Robert.
What's his name?
He doesn't really want his name given out.
Well, he's been somebody who's been referenced in here, who's from your residence, that his brandished weapons.
During the time that I was in the hospital, my husband had kept going over there and feeding the cats. And at this time, he was approached by Jeremy. Jeremy had come out and approached him because he was looking around for the food bowls because they were stolen. And Jeremy came out very aggressive and angry and pretty much told my husband that he was and absolutely was stealing the bowls and was going to continue stealing the bowls until we stopped feeding them.
As far as the stealing, I never stole anything. Okay, as far as me admitting that I stole any items or killed any cats, that is a blatant lie. I want to see the evidence on this one. I've never admitted anything. Never. I actually don't have any proof that I'd never threat. At the same time, neither does she. I just want to say that as far as all these accusations, as far as me stealing and threatening, actually I made no such thing. I actually would love to see any type of evidence brought forward besides witnesses that has been her friends for years. I want to see the video evidence of me stealing, any type of audio recordings of me. All these accusations, just false. I've done no such thing.
So nothing gets done about that at all, him stealing all my property. And I did call on the theft too. I called about him stealing my property, and they basically told me that because he's stealing on someone else's property, my property on Jeff's property is so confusing that it wasn't trespassing or it wasn't my property and it wasn't theft. I guess that's okay that he can steal property on lot 139 where I have permission to be on. And that also said he was going to come out in the middle of the night and shoot and kill my cats.
Anyway, so I guess I wasn't there because I'm usually in and out of the hospital, or I'm sleeping all day because of my cancer. Okay. Well, I guess my son was outside. He seen Mr. Mordick. He tried to have a conversation with him. And like I said, I wasn't there. I don't know. It's just what he told me. And Mr. Mordick was very rude to him about the cats and stuff. And so, because he was trying to explain what was going on with the stray cat, they was turning off our skirting, going underneath and using it as a big cat litter box. The smell was overwhelming in the first bathroom of my trailer. We couldn't use it.
I did, yes, I admit. I approached Mike first because Shelly wasn't available. She was actually in the hospital for having, alcohol withdrawals. And I did approach him because he was on the property over there starting to feed the cats. And I tried to reason with him. First, I wasn't aggressive. I wasn't hostile. I didn't have my gun on my side at that time. I did with her, but that's because I got back from the shooting range.
Jeremy came and approached me, and he had a gun on his hip and said that I was disrespectful to him and the cats were defecating under their home and on their roof of their home and keeping them up all night. Well, I asked him a couple questions about how he even got in here, if he's old enough to live here, and very, a real asshole, honestly, real asshole. And, I didn't appreciate any of that. It wasn't his property I was on. I never trespassed. I'd never been on their property. And so I called the police and I told them, I said, this kid approached me with a weapon and he's not supposed to have the gun on when in here in Holiday Village. You can't wear a gun, you can't expose a gun.
So, and then I think it was 2-3 days later, my son told me that he was outside getting ready to do landscaping when he ran into Shelly at that empty trailer again, and they had some arguments. It was on Facebook or YouTube. She posted the video, and she sent in some things to the property manager where my son had a gun on his side, and when he seen Miss Shelly with her cell phone, taking a picture of him, he thought it would be cute. He said to take a picture of her. When he reached for his phone, his shirt came up and the gun showed. He said he just got back from the shooting range also with my grandson. And so we sorted that out with the office. We told the manager that the gun is no longer in our home, that I made my son to get rid of the gun. So he took it over to a friend's house, and the manager is aware of that.
Do you know him to have owned a weapon, a gun?
Yes.
Okay. When you moved in to this location where you're now living in this park, did he move in with you?
Yes, he's on my leash.
Okay. And at that time, did he have a weapon?
Yes.
Okay. Does he have a weapon today?
No.
How do you know?
Because he sold the gun.
Did you see him sell to somebody, come by and pick it up, or how do you know?
Yes, they came by and picked it up.
Okay.
As far as William saying that I approached him in March with the gun, that I'm gonna have to say is a lie, because I can prove on my account that I purchased the gun in June. So it's not possible. So whatever Monkey was saying is not true.
Well, he did have a gun, but when he had the gun, he had it on his side, and there's a video that she posted on that with the gun on his side. We did get a statement from that saying that we was in violation of having the gun, on his side where people could see it. So that's not allowed. Okay, so we wind up getting rid of the gun. It hasn't been into our residence for quite a while now. He took it over to a friend's house and left it there in a safe.
So,
And the manager is aware of it.
he hasn't sold the gun, he just put it in a different place.
Yes, and the manager said that was fine. He said we didn't have to take the gun out of the trailer park or out of our home. We just can't let other people see it, and it was on his side. There is a video that she posted on social media.
Is the rules of the park?
Yes, it is. Just like it's also the rules that we're not supposed to feed any stray animals, especially if it's not on your property. And that's the trailer next to me is not their property.
I ultimately do not have the gun anymore, Your Honor. I actually ended up selling it a couple weeks after the incident with Shelly and I. So I don't have that in my possession anymore.
because it was legally started between them and my son. I cannot control my son. He's a full-grown adult. Yes, I'm the property owner, but I did manage to tell him to get rid of the gun and the cat trap. So he wouldn't get rid of the cat trap, so I did, I sold it.
When my neighbor was out walking her dog at 3:30 in the morning, she was right in front of lot 140 when she heard a gunshot go off. The gunshot went off. My last cat, Scoot, ran across the road, flew across the road. And that's the very last time I ever saw him, or that she saw him, and she knew who Scoot was. And she reported it to park management as well, and they wouldn't call the police on that because they personally don't like the police, and they feel like nothing ever gets done.
Can you prove that I was shooting in the middle of the night, in the street? Can you prove it? Give me solid evidence. No, exactly, silent.
At this point, me calling the cops on her, really about not her, it was more about her son, but she had to retaliate against me. So now she decides that she's gonna put a cat trap out, and she's gonna start trapping my cats.
But the only thing that we wanted her to do is to move them down to her property so they're not, bugging us, and tearing our property up when we're trying to fix it up, and she just, and laughs at me.
She is going to take it upon herself to trap and kill my cats because they don't want them around anymore, even though I moved them across the street that wasn't good enough, so she took it upon herself. So she puts a trap out, and I happened to see it when we drove by, and I am pissed. I'm livid, and I walk up, I take a picture of it, and I call park management, and I said, this is bullshit. I said, this lady is trapping my cats that are already TNR'd. They're good cats, they're doing nothing. There's ways that we can work with this. She has absolutely no right to be trapping these cats, not to mention the other cats that are free roaming in here that are already fixed. Well, of course, park management didn't do anything about it. I call animal control. Animal control comes out, and they actually, after a lot of bitching, they came out and they had a talk with her, and they didn't say anything. She wasn't doing anything wrong. Nothing wrong. It's legal for her to set a trap on her property and trap cats.
And then she called the animal control on me. The animal control came to my residence. He didn't see nothing wrong, that I was doing. I was in my right to trap the cats if I wanted to, if they was on my property, but when I did, they become my cats.
But it's what she does with the cats that's not legal, and this is the problem. And so she, tells my neighbor that she is going to trap them and get them euthanized. She admits to it. The son admits to wanting to come out and shoot them in the middle of the night. But it doesn't matter. It's legal for her to trap, and unless I have video of her actually taking the cats off the property and out into the desert or whatever, nobody will do anything. So animal control pretty much gives her permission to trap them, and then also tells her, well, you don't even have to tell us where you take them. Don't worry about it. It's like crazy.
No, security camera.
Okay.
Believe me, I do.
All right.
And I know you while you're down here.
All right.
Because we're not doing anything against the law.
Okay,
The
well,
cops even told
you
us that.
see where I'm at?
And so did animal control. It's legal. Yeah.
Wow, aren't you a blessing?
But it was serious to me on the level of that she's getting away with trapping my cats. And trust me, one by one, they started disappearing, okay? One by one, my cats went missing. These cats haven't left this property. They've not left. They've showed up for breakfast and dinner every night for a year and a half. And ever since she put that trap up, my cats went missing, and no one would do a thing about it, nothing about it. And boy, did she feel pretty empowered by that, really empowered. She had called the cops on me for trespassing, but I never trespassed. And this is another twist to this lovely story is I was filming, basically showing the situation of what I was dealing with the houses, and never stepped foot on her property and just walked around a line and showed the trap and came back around. And I produced a little video I put up on YouTube about what I was dealing with. And she called the cops on me for being out there filming and for trespassing. And I never understood that. The cop came over and cited me for trespassing, but I never trespassed. And he's like, well, don't. And I said, well, you saw the video, right? I mean, I did not trespass. And he said, well, I'm just telling you not to. It's like, I did not trespass. It's crazy. You know, so anyway, I've got this trap on her property and I can't do a thing about it, nothing. And so I'm asking people on Facebook, what do I do here? What do I do? And they're offering suggestions, you know, like throw a rock in it, trip the trap. A couple people said, hey, we'll come over, we'll throw on a ski mask, we'll come over and we'll steal the trap, we'll grab the trap, we'll run. And I told them, no, there's cameras all over, we'll put a ski mask on, and it just kind of turned into a joke.
Now, you mentioned that she's been talking to people on Facebook about breaking into your property with a ski mask so that they don't get caught.
Yes,
Shelley has been sending random people over to watch us.
yes.
Okay, let me finish.
And I posted some things on Facebook about my stress and what I was dealing with this woman. And so Mike and I decided that we were going to go to the gun range. I'd actually posted my target up on Facebook. And now, mind you, my Facebook is private, big time private. I mean, I went through every bit of extreme to keep it private because they had tried, they were sending me a bunch of friend requests, weird friend requests from, I mean, I would get it from her daughter, and then from this Jeremy Spencer, and just these weird, like, I mean, at least there's 6 or 7, and I blocked every single one of those people. I went in, because I already knew that they were looking at my Facebook on some level, even though I was private. Somehow they got in, and, you know, so I really went up and beyond to make sure I was very, very private.
But like I said, if she would have came to me before it got this far, everything would have been worked out. But she had to get on social media, post and, you know, and post at Target. And I was not monitoring her. I was not stalking her on her Facebook. I did not send her a friend request, like she stated in that one post. Because I haven't used that picture for a long time. I used the butterfly one. And for her to make her saying that her Facebook account was private, it didn't go private until after the officer left, when they told her to stop posting. Then she made it private, because the officer cleared my home when my son even admitted that he was just monitoring her to the officer, and he said there's nothing wrong with that. You know, everybody does it.
And well, anyway, I posted my target, and I made a comment about thinking of these two people, and if you can only imagine who I'm thinking of. And she called the cops and said that I'm gonna hurt her, and I had nothing to do with that. And so the cop came over and asked me what my intent was with the target. And my first thing was, how did they get into my Facebook account? They got this illegally. They have no right to be into my Facebook account. And he said, well, what is your intent? It doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter that they illegally obtaining this information that is supposed to be, you know, private for my friends and my family, so they can hear and listen to what I've been going through. You know, so now I have to, you know, of course, there was no intent except for letting off stress and aggravation.
But there's other ways in my eyes that she can, you know, think. If she would only came to me before all this took place, Your Honor, I don't think it would have went this far. If she would just came and talked to me about it, and I could have solved it with my son. So the officer seen the target, and he said, well, I'm not worried about everything else. I'm worried about this because that's criminal. And he went down to talk to her about it. Then when she didn't get nowhere with the officers, with that, she called one of the officers and said, ASS. But, you know, it's not about, like I said, it's, you know, not about the cats. It's more or less the threat of the target, and then the other threats, you know, about the ski mask. That scared me. What's their intention? You know, talking about the ski, why would they even talk about a ski mask? You know, to cover up their identification. If you're gonna do something, just do it, you know. But it was scary for me, because like I said before, I was shot 4 times in the stomach. I still live with a bullet in my stomach they cannot remove. And this happened, you know, 6 years ago. And now I'm living with cancer. So I don't like to get into confrontations with people. I don't like the drama. I stay in my house. I don't even go out my house. My children are even scared if I step up with what would happen. Because they're afraid they're going to lose me. Because they don't know if she's going to shoot me or not, if she would actually do it, you know. So she talked about being angry, how much angry she has, how much hate she has in her, in the post, you know, so.
And so the cop let it go. I mean, he let it go and walked away. It was, you know, okay, I removed it. 2 minutes, okay? I had that post up for 2 minutes. And my husband said, you need to take that down. I said, my account is private. He said, Shelley, take it down. You don't know what these people are capable of. You know, they're out to get you. Take it down. And I did. 2 minutes, and they hacked into my account that quick. That quick. And that's what they did. So the son obviously is the one doing it. You know, he's hacking into my account. They're watching me, monitoring me 24/7. And because of that, she was able to go in to a judge and get a harassment injunction on me for the things I posted on Facebook that they illegally obtained.
The defendant may not post any message on social media to or about the plaintiff. Is that what you wanted?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you want anything else?
She made her Facebook account private now so nobody can see what she's posting.
Well, that I don't think I can do anything about that. Well, I mean, if somehow private, does that mean she can still, I'm vaguely familiar with Facebook. Does that mean she can still post things, but
Yes.
you can't see it?
Yes. Only people that's on her first Facebook account, they can see it.
Well, you're right. In terms of proof, that'll be difficult. But in terms of this order, she's not even allowed to do that. If she does that, she's violating my order. And if you can prove it, then she could be charged with a misdemeanor. Again, my order prevents her from any type of message about you. It's just a matter of either the police or you being able to show that even in private messages, she's still doing that.
When you own a gun and you get a restraint, order of protection against it, can you still own a gun?
I'm sorry. Say that again?
Okay, if you get a order of protection, can you still own the gun?
Well, you haven't alleged a gun.
Yeah, she has a gun.
Okay.
She posted that on Facebook too.
What did she post on Facebook too?
The gun that she has in her, you know.
Okay, did she threaten you with the gun?
Yeah, because that target is the gun. And she posted the gun on Facebook also.
Where is this in relationship to the bullseye? In other words, was it posted before? Was it posted after?
It was posted after.
Was that on Facebook?
Yes, Your Honor. Everything's on Facebook or YouTube. There's videos on YouTube, but I can't activate the videos because I'm away from my Wi-Fi.
The court finds that, furthermore, that the defendant represents a credible threat to the physical safety of the plaintiff. Therefore, it's ordered prohibiting the defendant from possessing or purchasing a firearm and ordering that the defendant transfer a firearm to the Mesa Police Department within 24 hours of service of this order.
She goes in and she presents this to the judge, and then apparently he grants an injunction of harassment against me for what I posted on Facebook. My first time ever in court with this woman, and whoa, I mean, like, seriously, it blew my mind.
Did you share stories with her about your life and your family concerning somebody being killed and murdered, and someone in your family was murdered, and then someone in your family came to court with a person who's going to trial and killed the person who was the accused, and then killed himself. Did you hear that testimony?
Yes, I heard that testimony, Your Honor.
Okay. Did you ever talk to her about any of that?
I talked to her once about that when we first met each other, before all this other stuff occurred.
So you did have that conversation with her then?
One, I did.
Once.
One of the other ones, no. But one I did, and that was when we went to court about my husband, and took off.
Is that the one where your brother or son was killed, and he went to court and killed the person accused of the murder?
It wasn't my son. It was my daughter, and it was the judge gave him 5 years for killing our daughter. So my husband, I didn't know my husband had a gun, and pulled the gun out in the courtroom and shot the guy in the back of the head, and then turned the gun on him.
So he got into a court building with a weapon?
But yes, because they didn't have the things that you have here. It wasn't here.
How long ago was this?
This was back, I didn't give her a date when it happened.
How long ago was it that it happened?
It was back in the 70s.
70s, okay.
Yes.
She went back years on my Facebook, and years, and found everything and anything that made me look bad, which really didn't make me look bad, but in her eyes, she thought that she could, it was character stuff, had nothing to do with anything. It wasn't relevant at all to any of it. And then the stories and the lies that came out of her mouth, from the minute she opened her mouth, there was nothing but lies, and I'm just baffled, dumbfounded.
It's way out of control, and I'm just nervous all the time. And with the guns, because the order was that she could not have guns, but I talked to a sergeant, and I have his badge number and everything, stated if it's not exactly specific about the guns, they can't do that, make her give them up, because she told the officer they did not belong to her, they were registered to her husband. But my concern there is, she still has access to the guns, because they live together, they're husband and wife, and she still has access to the gun. Whether she, would do anything or not, how do I know that? With the, her state of mind with the passion of the stray cats. I did come back in, and the clerk there told me that I would get a phone call to modify the order about the guns, and I have the statement here.
The testimony is that she doesn't own a gun.
Her husband does, but with the target, she said that she hasn't been to the target range for two years.
Mm-hmm.
That shows that she does have a gun. Even if it belongs to her husband. And I still feel that if the guns are in her presence, she has access to them.
She put up 9 cameras around her home, 9 security cameras all the way around her home. So I know every time I go over there, I'm on camera. And I don't care. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just walking over and feeding the cats.
How many cameras do you have up on your home?
9.
9?
Yes.
Are they all at the front or the back too?
Back, side, front. And the manager is aware of it, and she has no problems with it. That's how they're pointed.
Okay.
That's what the manager, Heather, said.
Are there walls between the properties?
No.
Is this a mobile home thing or just? Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have cameras on the outside of your unit?
Yes, I do.
How many?
I have 10.
And why do you need 10 cameras on the outside?
That goes all the way around my trailer because of the harassment in my case.
And do you have a camera that's pointing at Miss Robbie's unit?
No, it's actually pointing at my driveway, but it spans out, and there's no way I can control that.
So there's no way that you can angle the camera down?
We have. We have.
You say you've had 10 cameras put up?
Yes, sir.
They're still up?
Yes, sir.
What was the cause of your decision to put up cameras on the outside of your?
Mrs. Rossi posted on social media a target, and it stated, when I visualized Connie and her son, it felt good. And I called the police on it, and that was on my case that was going on.
So you made the decision, or somebody suggested you, or how did
I made that decision to keep myself and my son safe.
So you were doing this to watch other properties, or to watch people coming on your property?
No, just to watch my property around my area, to make sure, because people has came up,
How far
out there.
apart are each of these units?
They're probably about so far apart. They're pretty close.
I'm talking about, let's talk about the properties where the mobile homes are. How far apart are they?
They're
roughly
about 20 feet apart or something like that.
You in fact had those cameras up on the property well before the incident that you reported to police did.
When it all first started, we went out and got the security cameras. So it's been like almost 7 months this has been going on.
No, well before you got the police report that got the injunction against this property. Right?
No.
When did you get that?
I think I got them a month after.
You got the cameras after you got the report?
Yes.
So if there were photos of your place showing that you had cameras on it before that, then what would you have to say about that?
Nothing.
Okay.
The judge is falling asleep. It was really it was such a surreal, like, Twilight Zone experience. I'm looking back at my husband, I'm like, what is this? And I did a video on YouTube, and I had the one that she filed the trespassing on. I called it Cat Killers Can Burn in Hell. And now, mind you, I've never, ever have had any confrontation with this woman. I've never approached her in a violent manner. I've never spoken to her in a language that's violent. I've never threatened her. I've never done anything. All I've ever wanted to do was protect my cats. But the lying, and it didn't matter. I guess it doesn't matter. You can lie in court. I guess that doesn't matter.
Both parties raise your right hands, please. Each of you swear affirm the testimony you give this court in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
I want to say, in the middle of trying to find out the kid's name in all this, I really wanted to do a video on my experience in court the first time with this woman, and because it was just unbelievable. So I did a video about my experience in court. All right, so she called 911 on the video I posted about my experience in court, and it was called United States Injustice System.
They posted on YouTube about the harassment injunction, and she talked about me, how I weigh over 300 pounds, don't go nowhere, don't leave my house.
Who did she say that to?
She posted it on YouTube.
On YouTube.
Yes, it was brought to my attention.
So she didn't send you a message. She didn't contact you. She put it on.
No.
She put it on YouTube.
No, right. She put it on YouTube, but in the injunction harassment, it says no posting of any kind about me or anything. She was talking about the target that she posted.
Well, let me see here.
They're just pulling in their driveway now. But it says no posting of any kind. She even held up the injunction of harassment on YouTube so people can see it and stuff. She was calling the judge names. Yeah. saying the judge was an idiot. Yes, I go my eye. But I don't monitor. My people let me know. You know, because they're trying to keep me safe from her. And that she is correct. I don't leave my home. You know. She's scared too.
And it also says that every day from 10 a.m. until about 2:33, I am at a bar somewhere in Chandler. Just random bar somewhere in Chandler. That's where they can find me. And that's what I'm going to look like and how I'm going to behave.
Okay, she never mentions who you are.
No, she doesn't have to because she put up that injunction. Everybody knows.
Yeah, but that injunction, I looked at it, it doesn't have your information on there.
She knows who I am.
Yeah, but she's not mentioning who you are. She's allowed to say that a neighbor got an injunction against harassment against me as long as she doesn't say who you are.
Okay, I was just trying to call the courthouse tomorrow and see.
No, I'm telling you, we are the police department. We're the ones who do the charging, and she hasn't broken any laws by just mentioning that a neighbor got an injunction against harassment against her. That's not, nobody knows who you are. She's not talking about you. She's not saying who you are. She's not giving your information out. She's not letting anybody know anything about you. All she's saying is that a neighbor put an injunction against harassment against you. That doesn't fall under the statute. That's not going to fall under this order. Because she's not mentioning who you are. She's not saying anything about you directly.
But that is against me.
Because you know you have the order against you, but nobody else knows who you are.
And other people do too, because she has told them, because I've got people driving by my house real slow. That's even in there. She's the judge see that.
Ma'am,
And stuff by my house.
I'm gonna call my sergeant, and I'm gonna let him know, and I'm gonna let him look at this, and I'm gonna let him make the decision because he's the supervisor.
And the cop totally had my back, which was very much appreciated, and talked about my First Amendment right. This is my First Amendment right, is freedom of speech. And the judge took that away from me. I never saw that.
So this lady, she goes and she gets an injunction against harassment against her neighbor. You know, they're the holiday, it's old people, and she gets this injunction, it gets served. Well, this lady posts on Facebook the one that got served. She seems very reasonable, but she's at the shooting range, and she posts on Facebook, "Hey, I bet you guys don't know who I'm thinking of right now," as she's shooting a target.
Okay.
And that's all she says. She doesn't say names. She just, "I bet you guys don't know who I'm thinking of right now," as a joke. Well, her husband's like, "Yeah, that's probably not a good idea. You shouldn't put that on there." So then she goes to, she takes it down. It's on there for 2 minutes, but I guess this lady saw it, the 2 minutes that it was up there.
Okay.
So she goes back to court, and then she goes to the court, and then on the court, the judge updates the order and puts, she shall not post anything about her neighbor on social media.
Okay.
So then a couple weeks go by. So now somehow this lady finds she goes to this lady's YouTube channel. The one that got served has her own YouTube channel. She's got like 500, 600 YouTube videos. And she goes on there, and then she's like, "Oh, she posted something about me on YouTube." So I'm watching the video, and all the video says is, "Hey, yeah, my neighbor filed an injunction against harassment against me. She's talking about law. She's talking about how she feels about it." She doesn't say who the neighbor is, doesn't say her name, doesn't say a word about her, except my neighbor posted an injunction against harassment against me.
That is a good question.
But she's not
saying no. She's not talking about her, but she's referring to her.
I know, but this is ridiculous. You can't even get on YouTube. She's got her own YouTube channel.
So what does the order? How does the order actually read? What does it actually say?
Let me get it here again. It says this.
About the social media stuff.
It says, The defendant may not post any message or photo on social media to or about the plaintiff. But this doesn't say video. The defendant may not post any message or photo on social media to or about the plaintiff.
But
So now we're dealing with semantics.
yeah, that's exactly it. Semantics. Is a video a message? I would argue that a video is a message.
Yeah, but that's your interpretation. Maybe that's your perception.
That's true.
But do we not have the Second Amendment right to say how we feel? I mean,
We do, but that's when the orders of protection come in, saying what you can and cannot say. And the judge is saying, no, you're not allowed to say these things about your neighbor or to your neighbor. And the question is a YouTube video a message to somebody? It's a message to the audience. Is it not?
yeah, but I don't feel comfortable as a police officer going over there and putting this woman in handcuffs because she makes a YouTube because she's frustrated about how she got served this order. It's about dude, you think about it. This is about cats and rocks in the driveway and bullshit shit. This is about, I mean...
So, here's my argument for 4. I'm not saying I want to arrest this lady either. You know, but like if I had a YouTube channel, the purpose of my YouTube channel is to get my message out to the people.
I'm like, well, what the hell? I mean, how can they just shut me down on my freedom of expression? I mean, this is my experience in court. What right do they have? I didn't say anything threatening, anything, you know, to do bodily harm or anything to this woman. It was my experience in court, and it was the truth. What I experienced. She was offended. It hurt her little feelings.
So she knows, she said she did not see that part of the order.
Okay.
So she said she didn't realize, she said I know I can't be near her, but I didn't realize I couldn't put anything online. So.
Yeah, well, she knew because the judge made it very clear to her. So.
Okay. Did you call my supervisor?
Yeah, because to see what was going to go happen, you know, because I was getting sleepy and I didn't want to miss your call.
All right, because he said you called because you were trying to make a complaint.
Well, I wasn't making a complaint. No. It's just that the neighbor at 135 came down. I was sitting outside. This is before I got the COVID. And at 9:47, just to get a little fresh air on my front porch, and he walked by and he stopped and he started harassing me. And he mentioned Shelly's name and everything else. And then he took off and said that my son opened up a can of worms, that he doesn't want to go there because he'll regret it. So I feel like that was a threat to my son from 135. And
okay.
I did get his name when I called the records to find out who owned that trailer. That's how I find out who owns them.
Okay.
And stuff. And so I did let the office know, and I think the office told them to back off and to leave it alone.
Okay.
You know, because she talked to everybody, even the guy in the double white trailer next to her and the green one. She talked to them all.
Well,
you know.
Can I ask you a question? Are you killing cats?
No, sir, I'm not. I have a cat in my house. She called the police department several times on me about this. Then, when she didn't get nowhere, she called the cops at ASS and said that the police needs to get educated on the law in a video on social media. The judge seen that too.
Okay.
And then she called, when she didn't get nowhere there, she called the animal control on me. The animal control came here, didn't find anything wrong, seen 2 cats in my house. And I, you know.
Okay.
And I got an answer. I mean, she just don't stop. The judge told me good luck with her and to be safe.
Well, all right. I told her to stay away from you, not to have any contact with you. She's not allowed to post anything about you. She's not allowed to do anything. So I told her I said, just pretend that you don't exist, that there's a big wall in between you guys, and you just don't have any contact whatsoever.
Yep, and that's what I've been doing, you know, because I just go to my appointments in Phoenix to the cancer.
Yeah.
I just had surgery a few days ago on my head to remove cancer. And then I get down with this. You know, I don't need the stress.
No, I know.
They're stray cats.
Well, like I said, she was cited. She's going to go to court. I told her she was basically under arrest, but I didn't take her to jail, but I did arrest her. She is under arrest for what she did, and she did get cited. She just have to appear before a judge and explain why she violated a judge's order, and she went against a judge's mandate. So she will have to explain that in court, and then we'll see where we go from there.
In the middle of all this, I'm not really, I got the infraction now going on, and I have to deal with that, and I have to go in front of the judge, and I have to, plead guilty or not guilty to going against the judge's orders of taking away my freedom of speech. It's pretty much what happened here. And I've got that on my mind. And on the other hand, I need to find out who Jeremy is, who this kid is. Well, by chance, I luck out, and my neighbor Dan ends up getting a package that was supposed to go to Lot 140. It went to him, and he got his name for me, Jeremy Owen. I got his name, and I was elated. I was happy. I finally got this kid's name. I finally get his name, so now I can get in and do this background check, and I can get in and file a harassment charge. And doing the background check, I find out the kid's a felon. He's a convicted felon. And now I'm like, how in the hell did this kid get into this park? He's a convicted felon. He's living in this park as a caretaker. He's illiterate. How in the hell is he here? How is she here? And I'm slowly learning about how to get through all this stuff. So I go in and I file the injunction on Jeremy, and it's granted. The judge grants it. He actually decides to fight it. In the middle of this, on top of all this now, I have to go into court and go in front of the judge about my infraction. And so I was going to plead not guilty, but I didn't even have a chance to do that, okay? They put me in a little room, and prosecution offered me a plea deal. It was surreal. They offered me, I think it was 10 days in jail. It was a $500 fine. It was 3 years of unsupervised probation, and also they wanted me to take a peace class to be more peaceful. Well, I'm sure I don't have to tell you what I did with that. And walked out of that courtroom and told Mike, we have to get an attorney. We have to. Now it's gone down that road. And it's a game you play. I get the attorney just in time because the attorney goes into court with me, with Jeremy, because Jeremy now wants to fight the harassment.
Can you please state your full name?
My full name, Jeremy Owen.
Do you have a middle name?
Why? Is that mandatory?
I'm just asking if you have a middle name or not.
Yes, I do.
And what is your middle name?
Do I have to give it?
You have to identify yourself.
Okay, it's Lewis.
And what's your date of birth?
9286.
And Mr. Owen, you have a felony conviction, don't you?
No, I do not.
So you don't have a conviction for drug paraphernalia and a narcotic drug violation in clause number CR 2013-443-552-001.
That's a misdemeanor.
County.
That's a misdemeanor.
Actually, according to the court records, it does not look like it has been reduced to a misdemeanor.
It should have been reduced.
The entry indicates that it remained undesignated. And so your testimony here today, though, is that you do not have a felony conviction. Is that correct?
I should not have it. They said it was after I was charged with it, they said it was dropped down to a misdemeanor.
Did you ever file a motion to reduce it to a misdemeanor?
No.
Your Honor, the judge who issued the previous order issued it based on exactly the things that were testified to in the court today, that Mr. Owen was unlawfully taking Ms. Rothy's property on a repeated basis from the neighbor's house who she had permission to care for. He tried to indicate that she did not have permission to care for the property. However, you heard from 2 other residents, as well as her husband, that all indicated that she had permission to care for the property. And regardless, it was her property that was sitting there. He had to trespass onto the neighbor's property in order to steal her property from the neighbor's property, all of which was part of the basis for this. He also admitted that he was walking around the park with a gun on his hip. We do believe that he's also a prohibited possessor. The online docket information does not suggest that his felony charge was ever reduced. And if that's the case, then his admissions today would be an admission to a felony charge. He also, they also admitted that they have 10 cameras on their property, which is at most a double-wide trailer, might be approximately 30 by 60 feet if it was one of the larger units. 10 cameras is absolutely excessive, and Your Honor, under the Arizona harassment statute, subsection A4 specifically says that it is an act of harassment to unlawfully surveil someone. They admitted that they not only have the cameras, but that they watch them all the time, that they view everything that appears to be going on around them, and that the cameras appear to be pointed at Ms. Rothy's property. One of her neighbors also indicated that he's seen the cameras on the outside of their house, and that it appears that one of them is pointed almost directly into their bedroom window. With all of these factors combined, there's definitely a basis for the injunction against harassment, and again, these were the exact bases that the injunction was issued in the first place. So unless Mr. Owen has a way to disprove what's been claimed in here, then the order should stand the way that it was issued, and we don't believe that he's carried his burden to disprove it. We believe the weight of the evidence shows that Ms. Rothy told the truth when she requested her order, and therefore it should stand.
Thank you, counsel.
He is called out for being a convicted felon, and basically the injunction stays. You know, I can't even begin to tell you how heartbroken, I mean, how this has killed me inside. It has numbed me to a point I'm just blown away that this has gone this far. And I even get more blown away when I did a research on this woman, and I come up with a list of involvements from the Mesa Police Department alone. This woman has over 53 lists of involvements. Imagine what this woman has done to people in her life. Imagine the lives this woman has destroyed. He's a convicted felon, and he's living in a 55 plus. She's a con artist. Her daughter, on top of it, criminal record from hell. Theft, burglary, fraud, forgery. The whole family needs to be held accountable for the lives they've destroyed and what they're doing. Oh, and then on top of that, I can't find any connection that this Jeremy Owen is actually her son. These people never, ever, ever should have even gotten into this park, into this 55 plus park, never. I'm standing up to this woman. I am not going to let her get away with this. A list that is huge. I'm 55 years old. I have no record until now, until her. 4 of them on my record. And for what? For what? Freedom of speech? Trying to protect my cats? Nothing until she moved in. 1 year in Holiday Village. And the destruction she's done, the lies she has told, what she's done to people. Honestly, is a sad, pathetic human being. She claims to have brain cancer. I don't even want to go there. I can't obtain any kind of medical records for proof. I've done so much research to find the stories, to catch her in all these lies, and there's nothing that I can't get to, really tap into it. I think her list of involvements is proof enough that this woman is a psychopath. She's messed up, man. And I don't even want to say sad. I mean, there was nothing wrong with what I was doing. I'll never get him back. They say it's not about the cats, and do you want to go to jail over cats? Cats. It's like, I love them little guys. I spent a long time caring for them, loving them. This never, ever would have happened. Never would have happened if this park had done a background check. They never would have gotten in here. They never, ever should have gotten in this park. It never would have happened. That's where it started, with them allowing them in this park. I'll never get over it. I don't understand it. Thank you.